Hey, David. Nice seeing you again.
Hey, you too.
Hey, excellent. So we've been talking about Syntropy Cloud Mining and all the excitement happening there. When I see lots of users signing up. Tell me what's happening lately. What's the latest in Syntropy Cloud Mining land?
It is exciting. Yeah, thanks. Well, I guess maybe the most exciting thing that's going on right now, probably the most difficult yet exciting, and actually we thrive on difficulty, of course, at times, is the customer payout system. The number one thing to me, of course, is to make sure that each and every single customer gets paid out on time. We want to give them the choices of not only being able to withdraw money, but of course, if they, are appreciating the coin that they're in, that they want to continue with that coin, move forward with it, or switch to a new coin. And there's a lot of excitement about new coins that are coming out, so they may want to move forward. But with that, there's a lot of challenges, of course. I mean, think about it. Every single customer came in with Bitcoin. Then we converted it over to the new coin that we're mining, right? Well, in order to withdraw money out of the system, then we have to convert it back to Bitcoin. Now, think about it. If you're in Bitcoin Green and we need to get you to Bitcoin, we have to take it over to one of the many exchanges, right? So if you can kind of wrap your mind around, a tremendous amount of customers, all these different coins, all the different nodes and master blocks, it's all crypto. And imagine the complexity of every single customer, every single order, taking all of this crypto over into the exchange, convert it to Bitcoin, coming back into our system, assign it to the customer ID, order ID, excuse me, assign it to the correct master block, and then assign it to their wallet and allow them to withdraw it. Now, there's a lot of steps involved in doing that. And right now, that's very manual. We have to have a human being literally go for each customer account, take that crypto, find out which exchange we get the best rate at, move it over to that exchange, manually trade it for Bitcoin, manually bring it back, and manually assign to the customer. That's a lot of steps.
Yeah, that is a lot of steps. So tell me, before you go on, so were those steps involved? Does that add to the cost of transactions, or is it not really an issue? It's just a manual, time-consuming process.
That's a hit on us, and that keeps us preventing us from scaling. The more manual tasks that we do, the more staff that we have to maintain and manage, the more tasks that we have to manually do and follow up on, the more chance, number one, we have of human error, which happens a lot. The more we get bogged down and we get exhausted, and the more we have to hire people. We don't want to have a whole entire room of people that do nothing but trade all day, every day. That becomes expensive, and eventually we have to pass that cost on to our customers. So we have a solution.
So does this go back to one of the previous videos we talking about you building or engineering a bot that you were mentioning 277 tasks that are automated? Was this part of the same focus?
Yeah, pretty much. We built a bot, a robot that basically goes in and instead of a human being manually doing 277 tasks for step one, and there's 3 steps here, we were able to engineer a bot that does each and every single one of those tasks automated, which saves the human being from going and doing that, which frees up our time to do other things that are more important. So this is the same lines. Yes, we basically, Anthony and Anthony is one of my really, really close friends. He's like a brother to me. I trust in my life. And we've been working together for over 14 years now. And he's one of our senior engineers. Him and I, on a personal level, have been developing a bot for a very long time. And the intention of the bot was to trade crypto personally for ourselves. We wanted to go in and, work on the different exchanges with Bitcoin versus EOS versus Ethereum. And so we were engineering this for ourselves. I don't want to say coincidentally, but, as we are building this mining platform, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have a really, really, really big, I don't want to say problem. We have a very big challenge to conquer. I said earlier, imagine a tremendous amount of customers. Every customer is in a different block with different nodes and different coins. We have all these different exchanges. How on earth are we going to be able to get all of this crypto, right, over to the exchange, convert it, and come back? A human being cannot do that. That's a room full of people.
Yeah, it sounds very complex. So that leads to the automation and engineering you had to do to kind of is it basically engineering and control in place to handle scalability of customers coming on board in the future?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it essentially makes it very fluid. For the customer, it makes it so it's hands off. They don't even know what's going on in the background. All they know is that crypto is moving fluidly, and it clears in their account, and they're able to withdraw it, or they're able to place it in order. So the customer really, has no clue on their end of what's going on behind the scenes, and maybe it's irrelevant to them. But for me, it means everything. And if you don't mind, if you want me to go through and explain about it, I'd love to be able to share really what it is and what it does.
Yeah, I'd like to know a bit more about what you're busy with currently on the bot engineering side. It sounds very exciting, and tell me more about it.
Okay, now let's say you wanted to convert Bitcoin Green over into Bitcoin, right? There's a number of exchanges that offer it. There's Stocks Exchange, there's Stock Exchange, there's Cryptopia. So let's use Cryptopia for an example. They're in New Zealand. It's an exchange, very good exchange.
Okay, before you go there, what does an exchange mean? What is an exchange?
Okay, an exchange essentially what it does is enables you to move from one coin to the next. And kind of the reserve currency of crypto for the most part is Bitcoin. It can be Ethereum, it can be a few others, but Bitcoin works kind of like the US dollar does.
So an exchange would convert the coin to fiat, and fiat to coin, depending on the kind of not.
Well, it can. If you're in Coinbase or Gemini or GDAX or whatever, you can go fluidly from Bitcoin into your checking account and back from your checking account into Bitcoin or Ethereum, etc. What these secondary exchanges are is they work with what's called altcoins. Altcoins are secondary coins to the main one, Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin Green and Polis, and there's a whole bunch of other ones as well. So if you're in an altcoin, essentially you need to get back to the reserve coin, i.e. Bitcoin, right? Kind of work like I use this analogy. It works a lot like the US dollar. If you are in New Zealand, you want to buy oil, typically you have to convert your New Zealand dollar into US dollars first, buy oil, and convert it, back. So if you're in France, same thing. If you're in South America, wherever you are in the world, for the most part, you have to convert your national currency into US dollar before you buy oil. And it's the same thing in crypto land. The reserve cryptocurrency of choice right now is Bitcoin. So if you're in any other altcoin, you've got to get converted into Bitcoin.
I get it. Okay. All right, cool. So that clarifies exchanges. Okay, carry on.
All right, sure. So essentially, what we're doing is we're engineering a bot, and a bot, is slang for short for a software robot. And what that bot does is it goes and it finds the right exchange with the lowest price that's available. And then what we do is we move the altcoin. Let's use Bitcoin Green for an example. We move the altcoin from our platform into the bot. The bot chooses the exchange, finds the exchange, let's say it's Cryptopia, right? It actually sits on Cryptopia. It could take you a day, 2, 3, 4 days, and it waits around for the right price. Once we find the right price, then it goes in and it converts it, or it exchanges it for Bitcoin. It waits for that Bitcoin to clear, and then it takes that Bitcoin from the exchange and it brings it back into our platform, and it reassigns it back to that customer again. Right?
Without any human intervention.
No, 100% automated. And I mean, there's a lot of tasks that happen to do that. We basically have to build an API because we want to isolate the system for security. It has to be extraordinarily secure. There's many layers of interfacing with each and every single exchange. Then there's a lot of logarithms in there as well. You know, we have something called strategies. The bot is written in 3 different languages, C# and F# and Python. Now, what a strategy is very simple. It's essentially, it'll look at an exchange and it'll look at a coin and say, all right, layman's term, wow, the momentum is up 20% in the last half hour, and the relatively, index is XYZ, and the price is, 22, whatever it is. So what it does is the strategy finds the correct moment to go in and to buy or sell, right? But these strategies are written in a programming language called Python. Python is probably one of the easiest programming languages. It's written almost in English. Like you literally kind of write it out in English. If this, do that. If that, do this.
It's got common sense expressions. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think one of the most interesting things about this bot, and what it kind of sets apart from a lot of the other bots, is we've integrated something called sentiment analysis. Now, you know what sentiment analysis is?
I've heard of it before. Yeah, it gives you sort of a tell me, but yeah, it gives you an idea of how that's perceived in the market, right?
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. What's the sentiment out there? What are people thinking? What are people saying?
Right.
What it does is it actually it scrapes and it pulls data from, let's say, 5,000 news feeds. And let's say on average every day there's about 20 articles out there for Bitcoin Green. And let's say also out of the blue, wow, there's 1,500 or 3,000 articles that just got released today, or Twitter feeds and social media. What's the buzz out there? So if the news feeds, the news wires, and the blogosphere lights up for a certain coin, then the human being, we get a text message, and it allows us as a human to take a look and say, wow, they just released XYZ. They just did an announcement. So it allows us from a human perspective to override our bot and say, well, let's double check our strategies here. Let's make sure that, we're not having a bot like a runaway train go and buy a whole bunch of stuff because the strategy made sense yesterday. But now that this new news came out, that strategy may not work anymore. So we have to, as a human, go in there, literally, potentially stop the bot, step back for a minute.
Okay. So what you're saying is, so the bot's doing its work, it goes to the exchanges,
Exactly.
it does work. Okay, so it's secure, right? It's safe and secure.
It's encrypted. Our private keys are this long. Our passwords are insane. It's insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while the bot's doing its job, you're doing in parallel to that, you're doing on a daily basis sentiment analysis. So if something goes that is
Well, the bot's doing sentiment analysis. We're just there just in case we get a notification that something is out of the norm. This could potentially trigger us to override the bot, because you can't have a runaway train, and bots are phenomenal and they do their job. But
so the bot's doing the sentiment analysis, the same bot or a different bot? Same bot.
Same bot. Yeah.
And if anything is out of ordinary from the strategy, it signals you, gives you an alert before the human.
Yeah. The bot actually has a bit of artificial intelligence in there, and it can look at different indicators. And if its momentum is just off the charts for whatever reason, that's just one indicator. We as a human can get that. And the reason why we wrote the strategies in Python is because in the trading world, almost all strategies are written in Python. But they're also very easy to almost write on the fly. So, like, if we've got a huge amount of crypto sitting in Cryptopia, the exchange, and it's pending orders in there, and all of a sudden on blue we get a notification, we literally can go in there, stop it, make sure there's no orders being placed. We can almost write a new strategy or fine-tune a strategy on the fly, and say, hold and wait to sell until it hits this point, or buy at this point, or don't do anything. Just sit back. Just don't do anything.
I see. Right? So you can tweak it as the alert happens, you look at it, you can tweak exactly the rules that you need to play by from there on forward. That makes sense.
Exactly.
So does this bot do the sentiment analysis all the time, or is it on certain times of day, or how do you
All the time, 24/7. And here's really where the sentiment analysis comes from. It's been, I forget who I could quote. I think it was Bloomberg or something, but there's some major publication out there that says that 85% of all trades are based on news. They're based on announcement. They're based on something that just got released, and particularly crypto, even more so in crypto. So your technical analysis may be perfect. Your strategy may be perfect. You may be going in there, week after week, and everything's perfect. But then one silly thing hits the blogosphere, and next thing you know, everything changes. And you can't sit and rely at this moment on a bot to do your job for you completely. You need controls. So it's a perfect bridge between human and machine, because what it does is it eliminates those unbelievable, overwhelming amount of manual labor and robotic tasks. Like I said, it's an impossibility in my eyes, to have hundreds or thousands of customers, hundreds or thousands of orders per day going in and out of multiple exchanges, in and out of our platform, assigning to a customer, assigning to orders. It's just not humanly possible. So all of that has to run, and it has to run perfect and efficiently. You have to have a bot doing that.
Yeah.
But you can't have a runaway train. You can't just sit back and say, oh, well, I'm going to go to the beach all day long and the bot has it taken care of. No. You need to have checks and balances of control in place, so you get a text message that says, this is odd. One thing I think that it really helps as well is that we have two markets. We have the Western Hemisphere, we have the Eastern Hemisphere. Think about the majority, not the majority, a large portion of the crypto trading happens in Korea, in Japan, right? So you have this whole Asian market, right? Then you have the whole Western Hemisphere. Well, the Western Hemisphere is sleeping while Asia's awake, and they're alive, and they're kicking, and they're trading, and vice versa. The Asians are sleeping while the Western Hemisphere is wide awake and trading. And so there's almost two shifts, if you will. Almost like you have the morning shift and the evening shift. Well, what are we going to do? Have a room full of 100 traders that are going to work two shifts? We're going to have a trading department that works 24/7. It would be stupid. And nor would I think even a human be able to keep up with 5,000 news feeds, forums, blogosphere.
Yeah.
So it comes back to the perfect marriage between human and machine, taking advantage of artificial intelligence and eliminating robotic tasks.
Yeah, that's excellent. So it makes a lot of sense that you have that covered, especially when humans do need to sleep and there's still trading and things going on. So when we're sleeping in the Western Hemisphere, these bots are doing their job, right?
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it has to.
Yeah.
And one last point, our current, traders that are trading these cryptocurrencies, I mean, literally, we're text messaging 11, 12 o'clock at night. Did you see this? Did you see that? Did you buy this? Did you buy that? That's not fair to keep somebody up until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and not be able to sleep and try to work first thing in the morning. It's not really fair for our customer. I don't think we're going to be able to get the right price at the right time. But if we could have a bot that sits back, and it may take, like I said, 24, 48 hours, it may take 4 days, but you can trust that for the most part, the bot's going to do a heck of a better job than a human in finding the right price, letting it clear, moving it back. Pretty cool though, huh?
Yeah, it sounds very exciting. Now, so we spoke some weeks ago about the tasks that are being automated and the bot and all that. So just to bring that back to this conversation, are you saying that's done and that's in place, and Syntropy Cloud Mining from a dashboard perspective, has this currently operating? Or is this in the development phase at the moment?
That's a deeper discussion, but I would never, it's difficult to use the word done. because everything is always in flux and everything's always moving. We, are able to constantly diminish the amount of time that it's taking to build nodes. Like I said in my last talk, I spent a heck of a lot of time bringing it down from 12 hours to 8 to 4, all the way down to 30 minutes. I hit a brick wall, and I was like, Clint, I don't know how to make this faster, and I know you can. Look at it with fresh eyes. And he completely revolutionized everything with that. And we've been working, around the clock on perfecting that. And we've actually pushed the envelope a little bit further. I think we've, at this point, gained another 10 minutes. 10 minutes may not sound like a lot of time, but when you're building, a number of nodes per day, 10 minutes each one adds up. But our mission, again, is to make it 100% automated. And to get there, there's a lot of engineering involved to make that happen, and there's a lot of testing involved. We can't just, again, trust that a robot's going to be able to do it until it's time tested, and we tested at least 3 times.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so it is very meticulously managed at the moment. There are people involved, human beings involved in processes. Your vision is, obviously, you've already started building the bot, automating 277 tasks, probably automating more as you go forward. But you have this vision of Syntropy, the cloud mining platform. You have a vision for where it's going to go, where everything's 100% automated. So maybe as you this video, maybe give me I don't know, what does it look like? What does it look like in a world where you have accomplished one, is there such a thing as 100% automation of this? I don't know, but what does it look like?
My mission is 100% automated, hands off, step back, let the machinery do the work. If we can ever get there, I will be extraordinarily impressed, extraordinarily happy. And I'm pretty confident we're going to get pretty darn close, if not accomplish it completely. I really can't see any barriers at this point. And it's like I said, it's a little bit scary to completely depend upon machines to do everything for you, and artificial intelligence. We are moving in that realm. We'll eventually, AIs will dominate humans, and we're currently in a space where humans dominate machines, and now moving into what I like to view things as humans and machines working and harmoniously, and that's what we're doing. We're saying, let me step back and say I'm extremely impressed with my team, right? Phenomenal guys here. Starting from the ground up. I introduced Sean in the data center, head of data center a couple weeks ago, and then Clint last week. I introduced, Anthony 2 days ago. Next week, Kevin. These guys are doing the work of like literally 5 people because they're so darn good and they're so efficient. And so just relying on our human elements, I'm extremely proud of our team, extremely happy. But what we're wanting to do, our mission is to build these machines and build this AI, artificial intelligence, and these bots to magnify what we do. Clint's too darn good. He's too smart. He's too valuable to be sitting there doing robotic tasks. It's just a waste of a resource. So if I can say, Clint, spend 4 days and eliminate your job, right? Make you irrelevant in this sphere, right? He'll do it because he knows there's 15,000 things ahead of us, right? So we literally almost every single thing that we do, we honestly look at under a microscope and say, are we doing this efficiently? Number one, great. Can we replace ourselves with a bot? Can we automate these tasks? Okay, we can, great. Because every time we automate something and every time we eliminate that from our to-do list, 40 other things open up, and we just continue to do that. And so, I
mean, that is the best job for artificial intelligence, or let's just rather say automation of the job itself, and that is to get rid of the repetitive tasks, the actions that are repetitively taking place, which are subject to human error. If you can automate that, why not? Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, back when we were building applications, third-party applications for customers, I had a really great customer who had 9 people doing ridiculous automated tasks all day, every day, and they were kind of miserable, but job security. I walked in the door and word got out that I was going to basically automate everything they do. And they hated me. I walked in the door and it was just disdain at this guy, and I assured them at lunch with them, I said, listen, let me tell you something. Humans were not made to be robots. I'm not replacing your job. I am going to elevate you, liberate you to be able to do creative things. So what happened was, it was very successful. We changed, an order would come into the system, and by the time a customer walked in the door to the time that order was fulfilled and shipped, it was almost an hour, right? From step 1 to step 2. I think it was 55 minutes or something. We brought it down to 4 minutes. Literally, 4 minutes per order. Now think about that, right? 1 hour per order, 4 minutes per order. Now all of those people that were doing this ridiculous task, now they're doing marketing, they were doing graphics, they were doing sales, they were doing project management, they were building new products. They were liberated. And it's funny because I saw them at Thanksgiving, and a couple of them came to a Thanksgiving party we had in the park, and it was a whole different dynamics. It was like we were heroes, and it's just funny how it transforms. And so for our team, everyone in my team knows they're not going anywhere. We've been together a long time. We kick ass. We work really well together, and we've proven to ourselves that every time we replace ourselves, there's just more to do. And I don't know, it excites me. It's fun. I love it.
Well, that's excellent. David, man. You're doing fantastic work and building a fantastic platform with Syntropy Cloud Mining. And I'm looking forward to catching up with you next week for some more updates and some exciting news.
Okay, John.
All
Great
right.
to see you.
See
Thanks.
ya.
Bye.